Some 55 million Americans are getting ready to travel for Thanksgiving, and AAA is predicting the rush is nearing pre-pandemic levels. People traveling again this holiday season. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez has more from New York's LaGuardia Airport. Hey, Gio.
You can already see how busy it is here at LaGuardia Airport. The FAA believes today will be the busiest day to fly before Thanksgiving, about 48,000 flights taking off. Let's look at the numbers right now, because AAA says that about 4.5 million Americans will fly to their Thanksgiving destinations. As you can imagine, air travel is up by nearly 8% over last year. Also up, though, the cost of flying. Hopper telling us most travelers will pay about $350 per ticket, and that's for a good deal domestically. And get this, airfares will be 43% higher than last year. The busiest destinations, American cities like New York, Orlando, and Los Angeles, major cities. Airports in Houston, Chicago, and Denver will also be very busy, especially on Sunday. All of the major airlines tell us that will be the busiest day going back home. And how about some last-minute pro tips from our friends over at AAA? If you're parking at the airport, go ahead and reserve a parking spot in advance. And you see what I have here? This is that carry-on size luggage. Go ahead and try to avoid the checked baggage. That way, if you have any last-minute cancellations or delays, no problem. You have everything right there with you, and you don't have to worry. Terry?
Good advice there, Gio. Thanks very much. Gio Benitez at LaGuardia. Well, since the holidays are here, this busy travel season, one of the things airlines are saying is that they're prepared for everything, but how can you make it cheaper? How can you make it better for you? Let's turn now to an expert managing editor for The Points Guy, Clint Henderson. So, Clint, good to see you. Let me ask you first about deals. We just heard Gio talk about airfares 43% higher. How much are points making a difference? What are you seeing in terms of deals out there?
You know, it's so crazy. Just a personal anecdote. I usually go home to California from New York for Christmas. This year, I'm not going. It's just too expensive. Now, that said, there are still some deals out there. If you see a deal, jump on it right away, especially a cash deal, because they don't last these days. If you've been hoarding your points and miles and you still haven't booked that trip home, you should try to use points and miles, because you're going to get the absolute maximum value for those points and miles right now, because cash prices are just so darned high, anywhere from 25 to 50% higher over last year.
Huh, that's great advice. So let me ask you about, look, Gio also went through where most people are flying. It tends to be the population centers. For people who might be looking for a different kind of holiday trip, whether it's Thanksgiving or sometime over the next, several weeks, are there destinations that are more popular or smarter to go to than others?
Yeah, if you want to save some money, you really want to be looking internationally right now. So Thanksgiving is an insanely great week to travel internationally, because Americans aren't going anywhere. So there's just no demand there. It's also shoulder season overseas. So, it's less crowds in general, but the US dollar is also super strong right now. So if you're willing to go change your plans, not go home for Thanksgiving, but instead go to Paris, go to Istanbul, go somewhere even more exotic, you can get great deals. The dollar is strong, hotels are cheaper, and you won't have the crowds to fight. So that's one way to score a bargain.
You are a font of good advice here, Clint. Let me try you again on this. So, we're talking points. You're working with the Points Guy, which is a great site to help you navigate and get the most out of points on your cards, on your frequent flyers. For people who don't travel a lot or are just getting started in points, the whole world that you work in, what's the best advice for people how to get started to get some of these deals?
So the first thing you want to do is pick an airline program that you really like. So sometimes you're really hub captive. So if you're an American flyer out of Dallas, you're kind of stuck with American. But open up a credit card with that airline. It gives you access to better seats, better boarding times, and free checked luggage. So that's a really good, soft introduction into the world of credit card and points. It also gives you a big sign-up bonus. So maybe for Christmas, you won't even have to pay for the trip next year. You can use points to pay for it. And that's really the value for the average consumer, is when you can open up a couple of credit cards and pay for your vacations once a year.
That's great. So let me ask you, what's the coolest trip you ever took on points?
It would have to be Israel. I used Delta miles to fly Virgin Atlantic in business class to Tel Aviv. and I stayed a couple nights at some luxury hotels, all paid for with points.
Lovely. I love Israel. That's great. That's great. Good deal. Clint Henderson, the points guy, thanks very much for that advice.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Clint.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.